Thank you. Hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for joining today and giving your valuable time to attend fourth episode of our Empower webinar series. I'm your host for today and the speaker to take you through the details on what impact technology can have on finance and for people in finance role. Talking about technology having an impact, it is having a great impact today. Me being into sales, traveling overseas, and doing this webinar from Manila, from our Philippines office. So that's one of the way that technology is impacting how we do business today. Along with us, let me introduce the key speakers. We are joined today with two respected industry professionals. Let us welcome Joy Lean and Matt Rogers to our webinar and enlighten us with their insights on how technology is making impact in finance role. Joy is a seasoned finance professional with 2 decades of experience, experience spanning across finance strategy, operations, valuation, modeling, pricing, treasury, and merger and acquisitions. In his career, Joy has worked with startups to Big Four consulting firms and as well as Fortune 500 companies. He has also seen end-to-end merger and acquisition for businesses valuing up to $4 billion, have scaled finance and administrative operations for 4 different startups, have tripled cash flow in US dollar 30 million in working capital, and many such achievements. On the other hand, we have Matt. Matt is also with 20 years of experience into technology space, and he has been into consulting business, assisting many other businesses to implement ERP and finance systems. Matt is accountant by background, and he's working with Sign Up software right now. And Matt would be taking us through a key function in accounts, in finance, that is accounts payable automation. So let's start without wasting any further time. Let us get started with Joy to understand how technology becomes key in finance role. In case anyone has any questions, feel free to ask through the chat and we will answer those questions as close as possible. Thank you. So let's get into it. Joy, the role of technology, expert speaks, right? So I would like to welcome Joy and thanks for giving us time today and speak about role of technology in finance. So the first question, Joy, to you is, how you see technology is changing in finance world today?
Thanks, Vinay, and thanks everyone for attending this seminar. As some of you can see on the screen, there's a calculator on the bottom left, and that's where I will begin with my quick story. At my very first job, I was working at EY, and the head partner of EY Africa at the time said to me, when I was a trainee like yourself, I was using calculators to check my clients' workings. And this is about 20 years ago, and we already moved on to Excel spreadsheets. So I cannot relate to using a calculator to do audit work. And today, and even a couple of years ago, a lot of small businesses still use Excel to be the ERP, to use Excel to do reporting. And as of today, Excel will slowly be phased out by newer and more advanced technology. Things like, look at the way we order pizza, right? Now these days you can order it in an app, you can call somebody. That's also technology, right? So especially with the recent advancement in technology, the change to finance will be even more dramatic. And so there's lots, we see a lot of technology changes over the last 20 years, from calculator to Excel, and now we're going to see even more changes coming up.
And even in Excel, I would like to add that even in Excel, how things have changed from the way Excel was utilized to today, how Excel has been grown, and with an AI technology coming and embedded within Excel has made a huge difference. So definitely technology is growing, and then there are tools like ERP, and on top of that, the AI technology making a lot of difference to it. So moving on to the next thing, Can you help us understand, take more specific streams of technology in finance and give a bit of an insights?
So here on the slide, I highlighted 6 major streams of technology changes that is impacting finance. And the first thing is automation, which has been, been doing its rounds for the last couple of years. And this is basically, think it's like a personal robot that help you tackle some of these repetitive tasks. Big data, it's like a financial version of a gossip magazine, right? But with numbers instead of celebrity scandals. There's lots of data everywhere, and we generate tons of data, as we speak. And the data is about analyzing and collecting that data. Facebook, Instagram, those are the leaders in that area, right? But that also impacts finance. Blockchain, if you guys, anyone's on the internet lately knows what blockchain does. It's basically, it's like having accounting journals in public cloud, everyone can see. Fintech, this is the cool kid on the block. It basically disrupts everything from payments to loans and even to compliance. AI, mobile. Mobile basically is moving away from sitting in front of a computer to using your mobile screen. Just think about how you're using the internet. Same with finance. These days, you can do banking on your mobile phone. You can, if you're accountant, you can do some journal entries right from your mobile phone. And AI, this is your future brainy assistants who knows everything and basically who can even help you crunch numbers and pick up patterns for you. That's in the past you had to spend days to figure it out. AI can help you do it in a couple of minutes.
Great, and you know what, we can discuss a lot. Like each topic we can discuss for a day. What I would like to know is focusing on the most important, which is comparatively easy to achieve than rest of the others. So, what's your thought on automation?
So, automation is I think automation is definitely the easiest to start with. It is what a lot of people will call low-hanging fruit. And, because then these days there are multiple tools that are dedicated for automation. It helps you, as I mentioned earlier, it's like your personal robot army that help you tackle these repetitive tasks.
Right. So it does talk about like automation. Everyone talks about automation and everyone wants to do automation, but there is no framework easily to get into automation, or for the businesses, they struggle to get into automation. So let's discuss about why, how, when, and what, where automation can do, right? So Joey, I would like to understand, everyone talks about automation, but what are the reasons why we should go on automation journey? Can you please highlight a couple of items that we had a discussion earlier?
Yeah. So, automation, in the big picture is to get things done faster and better with less issues. And that's why, the efficiency, accuracy, and it creates cost savings, right? Because often, as everyone know, nobody's perfect. Humans, we all make errors. And that's why if it's a repetitive tasks can be automated to be done by a robot. And they can basically do things better than you, faster than you, because they repeat the specific algorithm. They don't have to think for themselves. When they see this, they'll repeat the pattern. And that's why they are more efficient, more accurate, and all that helps you to be cost saving. And because your processing things are faster, you will have results faster too. And that basically help you to make a faster and better decision. And that's also lead to scalability, right? If you manually doing stuff, right, you want to scale, you have to bring more people to do the task. But computers and automation doesn't work like that. When you scale up with automation, you don't have to deploy more people and more resources at it. And that's why automation is so powerful when the business try to scale. And looking at compliance and risk management, there are technologies that helps you. For example, think about when you try to make a payment to a new bank account, and your bank will say, "Oh, putting your OTP or another password for that. That is a rule written as automation. So instead of someone at the back end doing that work, the system automatically generate those rules and to prevent your money get stolen by a hacker, right? And so by doing all that, you will improve customer experience because all the customers, nobody likes waiting, long queues, or wait forever to get things resolved, right? Everyone wants their results now. And so by having efficiency and automation, everyone will be happy.
Great. Yeah. And what I like most is there has to be, why we need to do automation. We have spoken about efficiency, cost saving, and scalability. But what to automate, right? And you were discussing about a couple of cases, but I would like to bring it down to the finance function. And I think a classic slides that you have shared with us about the pyramid. Would you like to explain this pyramid to the audience today and give them an understanding what lies into this pyramid?
Sure. So this finance pyramid, it's a way of visualizing how a finance function operates. So at the bottom tier is the finance operations. It's where the accounting software, the ERPs, or Dynamics, for example, fall under that. It's about transaction processing and its master data, and your financial policies will sit under this layer. Okay, but that's the base, the finance operation, and some people call it the grunt work. And as we're stepping up to the middle layer, this is where the controller will sit. It will be doing the financial reporting, doing financial controls, and that's where planning, control, they're sitting here. Okay, and the top layer, that's the top of the pyramid, is for financial performance. That's where the big picture, decision making is sitting at this level. And when we do automation, we always start from the bottom up. It's like decluttering your closet, right? Before you redecorate your own home. And also another way of thinking about this is garbage in, garbage out in data processing. If your garbage, is not, if your data comes into the system is garbage, you're not going to get a very good decision making, at the top. So that's why when we do automation, we always start from the bottom. We're making sure that data entry processing, that's low value but high volume amount of work. That's where mistakes get made. So that is where automation, low hanging fruits is. And it's also because it's high volume, scalability, right? So that's automatic. So you can see the bottom, the base. This finance operations where automation has most value and easiest to implement. Like data entry, invoice processing, expense management, doing reconciliation. There's so many tools in this space because this is the best area to start with the automation.
Absolutely. And month-end closing, right? Month-end closing, every accountant's job nightmare, month-end closing. And reconciliation, reporting is another aspect where financial controllers need to work onto the reporting. And if we get those things automated, that is has the most impact, right, onto what information the decision makers are getting, rather than waiting with the 2 weeks old data. You would get the data which is more immediate, which is much more live, right? So great example. And I think we have already on the left hand side spoken about data entry processing, invoice processing, expense management. This is where the business can start thinking of automating things, right? So it's a great segue. Now I will like to take on to this on automation how, right? So we definitely need to identify processes to automate. So what we have discussed over here is the pyramid, where at the bottom we need to look into the transactional, at the middle layer into the financial controllers, onto the reporting side, and drop onto the CFO, more of an insights. I think AI insights nowadays has become a great piece of automation. So once you identify processes to automate, what we believe is identify processes which are low hanging fruits. That's what they call. So minimal effort, maximum gain. Try to identify those processes. And I can give you an example. We are working with one of the aged care business, and this particular business has 400 employees, and they provide services to the aged people, and they need to request buying things at their individual homes. And for them, they have to raise a purchase request. So they used to do it on a paper. Then that purchase request is sent to the accounts team. And accounts team will get an approval from their manager. Everything happening manually. So what we did is we created a purchase requisition app and integrated with Microsoft Business Central solution. So what this purchase requisition app does is it gives them, an individual worker, an ability to request new items if it's not in their stock. Once that purchase requisition goes, it goes to their manager for approval, and from their budget, it gets approved and gets put into the Business Central for an accounts team to process, or a procurement team to process with the suppliers. So releasing purchase order and all. So we have automated those kind of processes where a manual work has been automated with the help of Power Platform, and further enhance the capabilities, which has reduced a lot of manual tasks. So important is identify the process, list effort, maximum benefits, map out the process. A lot of organizations have their standard SOPs as well as documentation. If not, start getting documents done, right? Select automation tools. Selecting automation tools can be a bit tricky. And if you are into the finance, not having an understanding on the total technology impact it would have, we recommend to take help of your in-house technical team or a digital transformation team. And if not, you can work with vendors like Microsoft and partners like Exigo Tech to help you go through this journey. And once you have that, design automated workflows, integrate systems could also be. So we have done an automation with EDI integrations. We have done an automation for one of our trade business where we have developed product information management system integrated with finance and with with their e-commerce style, so that entire product management, item management, and those things are automated. Other thing, as Joey mentioned, when it comes to data, you have to make sure that the data is quality, because garbage in, garbage out, right? So whenever you are onboarding into the new tool and new solution or automated certain processes, make sure your data is going clean, sanitized, and that will help you. And the ongoing data collection also has to be clean and sanitized. So the way you design your process of collecting information has to be in a proper manner. Definitely test, train people, and continuously improve, because your business doesn't to grow, your business doesn't stop to grow, or your business doesn't stop to change. Accommodating all those change, continuous improvement is also important. So that's how you can approach the automation, and you can talk to us about how we can start with that. But automation when, Joey? This is a question, right? Automation when? Can you highlight a bit on this?
Yes. So, you can see my quote there. There is no time like the present. The best time to automate is yesterday. And if you look at my points, actually it's bottom up. Actually, you should look at your strategy of your business, understanding what's regulatory requirements are. Because for example, if you look at banks KYC, some of the processes are automated because it's a requirement, but takes a lot of staff. So therefore, they automate that kind of process, right? And looking at your business growth and change, and understanding your resource availability, right? Because as you know, to implement any system, including automation process, yes, there are savings in the long term, but in the meantime, you need some resources to do that. And also understanding your process maturity. If your business still don't have a very good process, it's very difficult to automate, because if you don't have a mature process, you can't automate that process because you have no process to automate with, right? And also understanding of volume complexity. If what you're going to do at this process is standard and not very complicated, then automation is very, very simple. It's very, very easy.
Great. Okay. And so that's right. Automation time is right now. There is a similar analogy. If you want to have mangoes, how many years ago you should plant a tree? And if you haven't done, when you should do it. So time is always right now to get started. And look, every time we speak, right now we have spoken about automation, and we have seen that it's all green. It brings in efficiency and it brings in benefits, cost saving, scalability, all green. It looks green. But what are the dangers of automation? And I think this is one of my favorite topics, that every time everyone speaks about automation, they only think about good things. According to you, what we should be cautious about?
Automation, because it's a technology, right? So it's not a magical unicorn that's going to solve all your problems, right? And so that's why you have to be careful not to be over reliant on technology. That's why we have the slide about credit card, right? Because recently, I think earlier last year, a couple of banks system went under, and there's no cash, right? Some of the supermarkets don't have enough tools, or they can't operate without credit card, and it becomes a problem, right? And so even if you automate, you still have to have a backup plan, to understand if our existing process fails, you have to have a backup plan. So you can't be over reliant on just on technology, because sometimes things will go wrong and you have to continue running your business, right? And the second thing is about loss of human touch. Human touch points. Some things people want to see a person doing it and not a machine. So for example, my understanding is that planes can fly without a pilot these days, but they still have it because all the passengers still prefer to see a pilot. And, yes. And that's a perfect example, right? And yeah.
Great. We'll streamline reporting. So what we'll do is, just cautious of time, we'll skip this streamlined reporting side of it, but there are great ways to streamline reporting, which is quite important. I want to touch this topic. This is merger and acquisition. What technology impact has on merger and acquisition? And I would like you to take some example and talk about it.
Yeah, so I spent a decade in merger and acquisition, from end to end. So I got a lot of experience in this area. And, for guys who haven't done an M&A deal, it's like buying a car or a house. Someone's going to dress it up. We call it dressing it up. And technology does the same thing, because by having automation, you can reduce operational costs. You reduce perceived risk of business, because when a buyer comes in to buy a business, they will see how many people, and they will look at the process, right? They'll look at the detail of the business. And if they see too manual process and the business system is very old, they get a bit worried about it. Because what happens if this lady, who's you heavily rely on to do the work, leaves? Then your business might be in big trouble, right? So for example, in these kind of M&A deals, they look at the technology, look at the process, and they highlight who's the key management personnel, because they are thinking about what we mentioned earlier about over-relying on technology. If something goes wrong, what happens? So by having technology, reduce your costs, and it reduces the risk for the buyer. And what that means is better pricing. The person willing to pay more for that. And also, having a speed of reporting and quality of reporting, it improves, the visibility for the business, right? Because a buyer of a business don't want to buy a business and have no idea what's going on. And that's why, these days we call these quick reporting called dashboards. It's like driving a car, right? Everyone wants to know what speed we're going, what's your engine revs, and are we going in the right direction? So that's why speed is very, very important for reporting. And quote, I love this quote from Stephen Covey, is business is conducted at speed of trust. And there's this couple stories about Warren Buffett, whereby he actually went out and bought a business without a due diligence. He read a book. One of the students that came to visit Warren Buffett gave him. He read the book about this owner of this business. He likes the story, and he went out and bought the business without due diligence. And so that's why, having a good system, good reporting. When the buyer asks you for information as a seller, they come to you, ask information, you can give everything on time, accurate. They give them trust, and they're willing to pay more for a business like that. And, unfortunately here, I have an unfortunate experience of encountering a deal that basically failed because the reporting was done manually and contained a lot of errors. And the potential buyer of the business perceived this as a massive risk, and they basically walked away from the deal. So
Absolutely.
so technology is very, very important. You don't want to just use Excel or these manual processes. If you can automate.
Absolutely. And look, I have a couple of examples to discuss on that. We have a customer, uh, probably a few years back, we developed a mobile application for them and automated their complete delivery services, which helped them get into the acquisition pretty quickly. And actually, that technology investment by customer helped them raise their value. The other customer we have been working with, they have this standard system implemented, a core finance system implemented, and whenever they acquire a new business, they make those business easy rollout of those finance system. So because they have a solid finance system and structure in place, right from like a consolidated business to the other businesses, it is easy for them to roll out that financial structure so that any new company is being onboarded when they are acquiring. It becomes easy for their business and their management to onboard this new business. So there are a lot of advantages of technology when it goes to the merger and acquisition. Great, thanks, Joey. Thanks for your time. Uh, so we spoke about automation. We went into a few more details. Feel free to drop in your questions, and Joey would be happy to answer them. And let's have a bit of a sneak peek into accounts payable automation. So, Matt, if you can switch on your camera and let me know if you can request the presentation. Otherwise, I can. Yep, I think you have taken over. Thank you, Matt.
Hi everyone. Look, thanks again. Thank you for your time this afternoon. So just just quickly, I work for an organisation called Sign Up Software. We have been the company has operated within AP automation software for the last 20 years. We do predominantly work within the Microsoft Dynamics space. So just be for transparency there. But today's sort of presentation will be really around, I guess, the what is automation within accounts payable and why would you want to do it? And I guess off the back of Vinny and Joey's sort of themes as well, AP automation is something that has been around for quite a while, and we talk about obviously today AI, machine learning, they're all buzzwords that we hear on a regular basis, but in theory AP automation has been doing that for quite some time. But what has gotten better is obviously technology. So the ability to implement an AP automation solution is much better than what it was, say, 10 to 15 years ago. So, but let me touch on some of these things as we go through the presentation. When we talk about AP automation, and as Joey said, you do want to start, I guess, that automation journey at the bottom of the pyramid or the grunt work. Vinay mentioned that, I used to be an accountant. I spent 12 years working as an accountant and sort of got to a senior position. But, when I first started off as a trainee accountant, I used to do accounts payable. And it was all paper-based, and it is very manual intensive. There are a high rate of exceptions. There's lots of risk. Especially if you work in an organisation that is predominantly, it might be spread across multiple geographic regions. You're receiving invoices, you need to send them back out to other sites or whatever it might be for approvals. So certainly if you're running paper-based at this point in time. There's lots of risk with that. Invoices get lost. As an organisation, as a financial controller, you may not have a full visibility of all your liabilities at the end of the month because invoices are floating all over the countryside and you don't know that they exist yet. So, and also there is a large risk of fraudulent invoices being processed because you do not have the appropriate controls. So that is why you probably don't want to continue down a manual invoice process, and why AP automation can be of benefit. I think another thing to touch on as well is that AP automation is, I would consider it a relatively low risk project when you are looking to implement a new ERP solution. When you're looking at your overall ERP solution, AP automation can add considerable benefits very quickly. And I have seen statistics where I guess the AP automation will help with your ROI to get a new ERP project over the line with a board or whatever it might be. Okay, so that is something to consider, because you can measure the costs quite quickly. Best in class, as we're sort of saying here, look, if you are to implement an AP automation system, you are going to achieve automation. It's going to take you less time to process your invoices, which is really what you want. You want your staff to be able to move on to more higher productivity sort of tasks, rather than just sitting there punching in an invoice all day, right? You will get efficiencies, and over time you should be able to reduce the cost of processing those invoices. Okay, so again, these are all reasons why you would look at implementing an AP automation solution. I think one of the hurdles that we talk about here, and I've already touched on it, is the ability to get invoices approved. In a paper-based solution, it is extremely difficult to, as I said, to keep track of those invoices. Where are they? Have they been lost? Are they sitting on someone's desk? And from your AP staff chasing around line managers, etc., to be able to get invoices signed off is quite time consuming. Okay, and there's a lot of risk to you as an organisation, and the time it takes to get those approvals. And again, when we talk about the end of the month, and how do you do your accruals? Okay, if you don't know what invoices are sitting out there, trying to do accruals, obviously you can base it off last month's expenses, and you work out sort of percentages, etc. But fundamentally, there is better ways of doing that if you are running an AP automation system. When we talk about the AP automation journey, obviously most people, if you haven't implemented anything before, you are in stage one. You're manual, you're paper-based. Okay. Some of you may look to implement some basic OCR scanning tools, which would be some basic digital integration. The next steps would be then to potentially integrate that into your ERP, where you would have workflow approvals, etc. So that would where you're getting more advanced digital transformation. Stage 4, which is obviously utopia, which is where certainly in my line of business, where we want all of our customers to end up, which is a fully automated and integrated solution for their accounts payable processing, and it can be achieved, right? So where 80 to 90% of your invoices can be zero touch if you go on the journey. The challenges around AP automation. So I think when we talk about the various tools and technology that are out there, you need to consider the integration complexity. So certainly our AP automation solution is embedded within the Dynamics products, or the Dynamics ERP solutions. So we reduce that integration complexity. There are other tools out there that would sit outside of your ERP solution, where you're going to have to build bi-directional integration. You'd be extracting purchase order data out of your ERP into whatever AP automation solution that may be. You would have to build a separate set of workflows and so on. So that is what we mean by integration complexity. Try to find a solution that is going to reduce that for you as an organisation, but still be able to meet, I guess, your overall business objectives and your approval routing and so forth that you would require as part of that solution. But they do exist. Data security concerns. So again, if a solution sits outside of your ERP, which obviously most of you today, or you're moving to the cloud, will be sitting in a cloud. If you've got another solution that sits outside of that, are you concerned about the data, where it is held, for how long is it held, how sensitive is that data? It's just another host of questions that you need to ask yourself when looking at any kind of technology, really. But if you've already checked off the fact that your ERP solution sits in a very secure, and you've been down the path of your security questionnaires, etc., and you're comfortable with the ERP solution, and then the AP tool can sit within that, well, you don't necessarily have to worry too much about your data security. It's already been ticked off by the likes of Microsoft and so forth. Obviously, there's an initial investment. You need to go through an implementation. So there's a cost associated with that, which is the same as your overall ERP implementation. There will be a cost associated with it. But I guess that's from going back to my original point. I believe AP automation can certainly give you a good ROI very quickly. Okay, that will reduce, get rid of that initial investment overhead. Customizations, certainly today in the cloud environment, customizations is something that, if possible, you should avoid. The tools are very flexible. And part of implementing AP automation is understanding your business processes or your AP business process and the scenarios associated with, if a PO invoice comes in and there's variances and so forth. How do you treat that as an organisation? But understanding that and going, okay, well, this is how the solution does it. There might be some slight changes here. I might have to go to my vendor to add some additional information to the invoice. Things like that. There's a whole process you might have to go through, but if you can avoid customization, it is good. But it's not to say it can't be done. But the less customization, the better. Obviously, then the resistance to change. So I mean, this is just people, in change management, right? You're going to come across that no matter what implementation or any technology implementation. There's always going to be some kind of resistance to change. Okay, so how do you manage that process? And I think accounts payable is interesting as well, because you'll generally find it is the hub of the finance team in regards to if we're not paying our vendors, the business it's mission critical, and you often have very long-term people sitting within those accounts payable teams, and and sometimes they've been doing things for a long time and they don't want to change, but we all have to manage that process. So Explo is our product name. And I guess when we talk about how do we reduce those complexities that I've just talked about, so again, the integration complexity, our solution is built in to the ERP side of things, so you do not have to worry about the integration side of things. Again, when we talk about having an ERP solution in the cloud, certainly Microsoft has a regular release cadence. You'll have 2 major releases every year. You need to maintain that. You can fall 1 or 2 behind, but you need to maintain that. So having a solution that is embedded and you do not have to worry about third-party integrations can make that process of upgrading a lot easier, because it's not like the old days. If some of you are still on-premise solutions where you can end up 10 versions behind, you can't do that when you move to the cloud. So you need to think about these things as you move forward on your journey as well. Again, data security concerns, our solution is embedded within the Microsoft solution. So we get to benefit of, off the Microsoft machine in terms of, how they look after technology, their data centers, etc. So that's not something we have to worry about. So we tick that box as well. Obviously from an initial investment, we've been doing this for 20 years and we're very comfortable and can do it what we believe at a relatively low cost as well. Customizations, again, we can do that, but we would encourage any customer or challenge customers on why they would need that customization and have they thought about other ways of doing things. The resistance to change as well. So I guess one of the key things for us is because we are embedded in the D365 solutions. When your staff are being trained on those particular ERPs, if you're implementing or you're currently using them, our solution feels exactly the same as the standard D365 products or Microsoft products. So your training and some of that resistance to change can be reduced as well.
Great.
Okay. I think that's it from me.
Thanks, Matt.
everyone.
Thanks, Matt. That was a good insights into AP automation. And I can tell you a couple of customers, we have implemented AP automation Explo solution for one of the global foreign exchange company. They quite major into Australia, based in Melbourne, and they are present across 5 continents. And what they did is when they implemented Xflow, is they automated their procurement process. So any suppliers want to get paid, sends to one single email address, and from there it is triage and scheduled to pay to those suppliers in those independent countries with independent currencies and all. And with the use of Dynamics 365 Finance that they are doing, AP automation being implemented quite successfully across multiple entity and organization. So it plays a quite an important role when you have such a complex business setup, multi countries, continents, rules, regulations, and then you want to centralize their procurement. So this AP automation tool has helped them to do that. So pretty good solution. So let's dive a bit into the Microsoft ecosystem. I know we are running out of a bit of time, so I will do a bit quick introduction. So what Microsoft has is Microsoft has an agile ERP solutions under Dynamics 365 banner. And when I say agile, it is adaptive, global, insightful, leading, and empowering, right? And it can take care of full finance functionality for your organization, and not just finance, because finance gets affected. All the entries across the business makes an impact onto the financial journals. It becomes very eminent that the finance core function has to be addressed quite well. So Microsoft has this agile ERP, which is and in this they have two flavors of it, and these two flavors of it are called Business Central and Finance, right? So under Dynamics 365 portfolio, what Microsoft is, it's not just one product set, it is a platform. So when you implement a business applications, you're not just having an accounting or finance system, you are getting a plethora of other applications which can be further extended. So one of the case which I discussed about implemented Business Central and extended with Power Apps for the purchase requisition. Other systems, we have integration of sales with the Business Central for not-for-profit NH care business. And it gets integrated with your productivity tools as well. And with the global age of AI, all this as bring in an extra capabilities. So that's what Microsoft presents to the businesses, a great platform which has an ability to scale as well as your business grows. So you will be never out of the technology requirement. And I was talking to one of the government agency right now in Manila, and they thought of starting with the customer service, but then we extended having a discussion onto the finance system and how we can further extend it with Power Pages and Power Apps to the chatbot scenario and all. So there are so much of things you can do once you start onto it. So you need, when you're doing a technology selection, selecting a right platform, not just the product, becomes so critical. So moving on to that, just one quick case study, and Flow Power is one of our customer. Flow Power is an electricity retailer transforming the way Australian business work and buy their electricity. So Flow Power, we implemented Dynamics 365 Finance, and where with this implementation, we worked with the business and we implemented Dynamics 365 Finance across multiple entities, consolidated, and we have also done the system integration with their key business operation system, which brought in a lot of automation for them. So a great case study, a great use of technology and Dynamics 365 Finance. So we thanks a lot to Flow Power working with us on this. And then from what next, right? So we have spoken about automation. We have spoken about various impact technology makes into the finance function and finance role. But where to start? So with this, Microsoft and Exigo Tech has assessments. So you want to start with small thing. You can start with envisioning workshop, and we can help you from deriving your roadmap onto this automation journey. You can start with business value assessment. So if you have a particular case, like I spoke about purchase requisition, you can have a specific case of AP automation, purchase requisition, or integrating with other business systems. With the finance system, we can do that. One of the project we did where a customer was using a Zero for their finance and accounting, but they were struggling with the inventory management. So we implemented Business Central, taking care of inventory management and integrating with their third-party e-commerce tools. So there is so much you can do when you have a specific use case, and we help you through these assessments to go there. And if you are already onto the legacy systems of Microsoft on-premise solutions, we can help you move to the cloud solution. So speak to us about how we can get into this assessment analysis, whether it is an automation or doing an implementation, and we can help you with that. With this, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in a chat. If not, we have already overrun by 2 minutes. Our next event is going to be about efficiency, productivity, and cost savings with Power Platform. So do join this. This is on, again, 20th June, third Thursday, 3 p.m. So we would be hosting these events every third Thursday of a month at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Time Zone, sorry. You have my contact details, so feel free to reach out to me, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you. I hope you found this session today great and been with the enough information. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, and we look forward to address them. Thank you.